everybody, welcome to another video from my gallery of interviewing from the car, the interview with confidence video series from Job Recruiting Secrets, which is my website. So the question today is, I received this question several times, like all the calls that I have with prospect students, I received this call, like this question. So what are the top three problems? What are the top three mistakes that I see people making all the time? Like, what are the top three problems? So that's very, very easy for me to answer that, because I would say 90% of people have the same problems. And the top three problems are: one, a resume that doesn't stand out from the crowd. There are so many people, and I will talk more about that, but they have like very general resumes, if I can say this way. Number two, they don't have remarkable answers. Like they are not telling me the best stories during the interview. They are not like articulating the story correctly, so they're not remarkable. And number three, I would say it is so one thing is selecting your stories, the other thing is telling me that stories. So let me put differently. So number two is selecting the stories, number three is telling me the stories. I think this is a better way of saying the top three mistakes. So speaking about resume, the number one. So you will not get interviews if your resume is not good. And the reason for that is like the biggest firms in the US, they have the AI bots. I always call that the AI robots who will read resumes, because the biggest firms in the US, they don't have time. They cannot pay a human being to be reading so many resumes to select the best person for interviews. So like it's as basic as you have to know what you are writing. Like every word of your resume is something that you thought about. And also, like the way people are writing the resumes is not good. Like there are several frameworks. Like I have a framework that totally works, that you can find out in my website. It's called Resume 2.0, the result-oriented resume. And in summary, it talks about like how to write a resume that shows your results, how to write a resume that shows your skills, like how to make sure that every bullet point has a purpose. So you are telling your best stories in that resume using the result-oriented resume. And besides that, it will make me curious to know you better. So this type of resume will pass by the ATS, the AI robot who reads resumes. It will be tailored to the job requirements, it will be tailored to the job position, and also it will make the person reading this, because after it passes by the bot, it will go to a human being, the recruiter. So the recruiter will be reading this, and the recruiter will be curious to know you better. Okay, so that's one. The second thing I would like to talk about is like the stories people are telling me during these interviews, because like in the resume you write like maybe 15 bullet points, 20 bullet points, and then you are telling me those stories. And then sometimes I ask questions and people tell me stories that are like weak. They tell me stories that doesn't show their impact. They tell me stories that doesn't show their results. Like, how did you make the difference here? So like it needs to be a top 5 stories. That's what I teach to everybody. Like it's in the membership. Like you have to select your top 5 stories, those stories that you are like super proud of telling someone else. Okay, so these are your top 5 stories. These are like the key to a great interview, is knowing your top 5 stories and telling the top 5 stories. So don't tell me like a basic story. Don't tell me something that you supported, that you helped. They're like, no, like we are in the interview, and I discussed this in different videos. The thing is, like you have 30 to 45 minutes to convince me that you can solve all my problems. I always tell this to everybody, like that's the goal of the interview, 30 to 45 minutes to prove to me that you are the best, that you can solve all my problems. That's the goal of the interview. And as I always say, it's not always that the best person, the best can, like not the best can, it's not always the most experienced person will get the job, but the person who performed better than the others during the interview. So you have to know your top 5 stories. And then brings me to the third topic. It's how to tell those top 5 stories, how to tell any stories. If I ask you, tell me about yourself, you have to have a very good answer. If I ask you a lot of my questions, like any interview, not only my questions, if I had any interview, you have to know how to tell your stories, right? Your answers. And then at the end, do you have any questions for me? Yes, you have to have good answers for, do you have any questions for me, even for that. So the thing is, you have to practice, you have to prep for every single step of the interview. I'm not kidding. Hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. I think I prepped and I did mock interviews for Google and Microsoft. I would say like 30 to 40 hours for each. Like, are you crazy? No, I'm not crazy. I really wanted that job. So you have to practice. You just practice. I'm here in my car. I could be practicing. Tell me about a leadership story. Tell me about a proactive. Tell me about a mistake. Tell me about an ambiguous situation. Tell me about this. You just practice your answers non-stop. You are walking on the street. You are practicing. You could be practicing. You are in your car by yourself. You could be practicing. And the thing is, practicing out loud. It's much better when you practice out loud. So you have to write your answers. It's a way of memorizing everything. You have to speak, and then you are listening, and then you could be recording yourself with audio. You could be recording yourself with video. The thing is, every time it's another rep. It's just like going to the gym and you do another rep, and you do another rep, and you do another rep. So you are like getting stronger. You're getting better. So that's my point. You have to be telling these stories perfectly. There are other videos in here that I talk about the importance of storytelling. I hope you watch it. Also, there are videos that talk about interview certainty, where I talk about remarkable answers and the interview presence. But I think you got my point. These are short videos. I just want you to understand the top 3 problems that I see: resume, not so good stories, and not telling me your best stories perfectly. I would say that's it. And if you need any help in any piece of these, like I could be talking about confidence as well, but I also discussed that in another video. But my point is, if you need any help in any part of the process of your job hunting and getting a job that you want, you know that you deserve a better job, just search for my name, search for my website, www.jobrecruitingsecrets.com. And like, I have a training that will give you, oh my God, it will give you so many insights that can help you. So just visit jobrecruitingsecrets.com, and then you will see this special offer that I have for everybody who follows me here. Okay? See you in the next episode. Bye bye.